Hey Alyssa, let's work this through so we can get you in better shape with these, okay? All right, so I'm just gonna work the one that you gave me. The 10 miles per hour equals how many feet per minute? So first thing first, I want to rewrite this so that it's a little easier for me to work. So I'm gonna use my first ratio, and I'm actually going to write it, I know this little slash designates a fraction. I'm actually gonna write it as 10 miles over 1 hour, just so you can see that a little better. So I'm gonna start with 10 miles all over 1 hour. And I need to know how many, so I'm gonna put a lot of space here so I have a lot of room to work. And I need to figure out how many feet per minute this initial rate is. So we're gonna go from 10 miles per hour all the way to feet per minute. Now, if you look at it, you notice that we have miles and we have to turn them to feet. And then we have hours that we need to turn into minutes. So it's not like some of those easier ones that you've probably done already this lesson, where you just had to convert one. Maybe you had 10 miles per 1 hour and it wanted to know how many feet per hour. This one we have to do more than one step. But you actually do the same thing, you just have to do it twice. So let's just take it one step at a time. That way it's a little easier to see it first and not so overwhelming, okay? So you can pick either one. Do you want to convert miles first or hours first? I'm going to go ahead and convert my miles into feet first. So I'm going to multiply here because what I want to end up doing is canceling out some things so that I can get to miles, from miles to feet. So my miles is on top, and just like you have a fraction that's 5 over 5 and it simplifies to 1, and just like last year's invisible math, you don't technically need that. I want to do that with my miles. I want to get rid of it because I want to end up in feet. So if I want to get rid of it, I have to put it in the denominator since it's in the numerator. So think of this as if it was 5 over 5 and I could cross out my 5s. Same thing with my miles. If I put my miles on the bottom, I can cross them out. So I'm going to put miles on the bottom. And I'm going to put what I want to end up converting them to on the top. So I want to go from miles to feet. So I'm going to have miles on the bottom. I'm going to put feet on the top since that's what I want to end up with. And I think, is it 5,280 miles? Give me just a quick pause right here. I don't have it memorized. Feet to miles. I think it's 5,200. Give me just a second, Alyssa. I'll be right back. I want to check before I give you the wrong answer there. 5,280 feet. It is? All right, so in 1 mile, there is 5,280 feet. Okay, so I want to keep this as the same number. And I mean that as in 580 feet is the same thing as 1 mile. And I want to keep that same because remember, I'm really just wanting to multiply by 1 kind of, if you want to think about it like that. Okay, so now I could go ahead, and she's probably showed you to go ahead and multiply here and go out another step, but let's just take it one at a time, okay? So now I have miles over miles, so I can cross out those miles. I don't need them anymore. And now I'm just going to multiply across. I have 10 times 5,280. That's going to give me 52,800. And then my unit is feet because I no longer have my miles. I just have my feet. And then I'm going to put that all over what I have on the bottom. 1 hour times 1, because again, I crossed out my miles, so that unit no longer exists. I just have 1 hour times 1, which gives me 1 hour. Okay, but I'm still not where I need to be. I need to end up with feet over minutes, and right now I have feet over hours. So I have to do another step so that I can convert my hours into minutes to get my final answer. So let me go ahead and set it up here again. Feet over minute. Now, you can go ahead, I'm doing this step down here in a separate step to break it apart, but you can technically put it up here and multiply and just keep going. And your teacher may want you to do that, but I want you to see it broken down. So I'm gonna move it down here, and we're gonna do the same exact thing we did up here. So I'm gonna put feet on the bottom because no, we don't wanna do that. We don't wanna put feet on the bottom because then we're crossing out our feet and we need it to end up in feet. So we wanna leave that alone. I want to change my hour because I'm starting with hours and I need to be with minutes. So this is what I need to end up crossing out. And remember, I have to have numerator and denominator in order to cross things out or simplify, right? So I'm gonna stick my hour on top here so that I can end up crossing those out. And I'm wanting to end up with minutes. So again, this multiplying here is your conversion, just like right here, this was the same thing. 5,280 feet is the same thing as 1 mile. Well, 1 hour is the same thing as, I want it to go in minutes, so 1 hour is the same thing as 60 minutes. Okay, and now we're gonna do the same step. I can cross out my hours because I don't need them anymore. And now I'm gonna have 52,800 feet, because I'm just multiplying across now. I'm 52,800 feet all over 1, I don't have my hours anymore, so 1 times 60 minutes, which is 60 minutes. And as you can see, now I have my ratio in the units it needs to be. I'm feet over minutes, and my answer needed to be in feet over minutes. The problem is I am not simplified yet, so we need to do that step. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start to see if 60 will go in here. I don't know if it wanted the unit rate on your particular problem, but it may, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start with that number. We should get to use calculators now. I bet you're super happy about that, huh? All right, so we've got 52,800, and we're going to divide that by 60. Yay, it went in evenly. So it went in 880 times. So I'm gonna have 880 feet in just 1 minute, because this is back to those ratios we used to do, those relationships we used to find. If I was doing a unit rate here, to get from 60 to 1, I have to divide by 60. And then what you do on the bottom, you also have to do on the top. So I ended up having 52,800 divided by 60 equals 880, and 60 divided by 60 equals 1 minute. So my final simplified ratio is 880 feet per 1 minute. Now this one just happened to go down to a unit rate. You may have some that don't. Just do your divisibility rules and see how far you can simplify this ratio right here, okay? Hopefully that helps a little bit. If you're still having some trouble, just let me know and we'll slow it down a little more, okay? Best of luck, Alyssa.